Hey guys, so this is part 2 of the Hare Krishna amazingness. This is Eco Truly village or whatever, about an hour and a half north of Lima. Beautiful on the beach, life was amazing there, right? Vegetarian, all you can eat buffet. Anyway, look at my last post if you want to learn more about that. Incredible, right? But me and Sherdok and Daniel and I, we go out to harvest some San Pedro and guayaba. That's right. Second chance at San Pedro. I was so excited about making it. I'm more excited about making these things than I am even about like doing them. I just like I'm a medicine man. I love being the medicine man. So go out there. We know there's some San Pedro in this person's yard, but they're sitting out in their front yard, and so we asked them if we could have some, and they said no. So then we go to harvest guayabas. There's just a bunch of guayaba trees that are fruiting right now. Sherdok's all about it. Sherdok is this amazing dude. He's like my brother from another mother. Like dumpster diving, big fan of Daniel Vitalis. Like he's just like, I love this guy. Like I could see. You know, I haven't met him. Carl, and I are like very similar, very same people. Like I just see it. You know, it's like I can see our souls, and they're all the same. It's really funny. But anyway, so we harvesting. We hop a fence to harvest some guayabas, and this guy comes up with a stick, and he's like, I mean, we're just picking them off the ground, and this guy's like, sticks the stick in my face. He's like, get off my property, you know, and all this stuff. So we bail, all right? And he didn't even want the guayabas. The guayabas are just rotting on the ground, but he didn't want to stay. He's right. No worries. We shouldn't have hopped the fence. But yeah, so then we kind of gave up on the San Pedro, but then as we're driving in the taxi, it's like, whoa, pull over. There's huge cactuses. These like 5 huge cactuses. We harvested like one limb of one of the cactuses. Got like 15 feet of cactus, on which you need a foot of cactus per person. You know, I'm going to avoid all the explanations about San Pedro. If you really want to know how to make San Pedro cactus and you're asking me, like, I will tell you. Put a comment on my site or like comment on this YouTube video, and, you know, I'll connect with you and I'll make sure you know what you're doing and how to do it. But I don't need to talk about it, because most people don't need to know. Most people don't want to know. My mom's like the only person who watches this stuff. Anyway, yeah, so we go back to cook it, we slice it, we do all that stuff, and we wanted to use a juicer, but the juicer didn't work out at Sherdok's. So we have to do like some espionage. We have to go like subvertly like go into the Hare Krishna's kitchen, because while San Pedro is legal in Peru, it's not really kosher with the Hare Krishnas. They only do coca leaves. They don't like pot. They don't like any other drugs. They only coca leaves and I guess milk. Other than that, they're all vegan and just trying to meditate all the time, right? And so we sneak into the kitchen and use their blender, and we use the hell out of their blender, so like smoking and stuff. So we didn't even blend the whole stuff. We just blended most of it. And the thing is, like, we were subverting like the Hare Krishnas, but all the volunteers, we didn't really care if they saw us, right? And so a bunch of people joined in and made quick work. They were cutting it. We cut out the center and did all that good stuff. And then the guys, so everyone knew about it, so it was like, well, it looks like it's going to be quite the San Pedro party. So I cooked up as much as I could, filled the pot, and it was probably like 8 feet, maybe 7 to 8 feet of cactus, which is 7 to 8 servings. We ended up having 12 people, but I'll get there, because I was cooking all night. I had no idea how many people were going to join, and just did as much as I could, and then I went to bed kind of late. I was giving lots of love while I'm cooking this. You know, love is the major ingredient for this stuff. And so while I'm cooking it, or I quit at about midnight, go to sleep, and I wake up in the morning, and I actually lead a yoga class. I've never led a yoga class in my life. And, well, I kind of would lead my friend on Skype who's kind of, like, injured and stuff. So, like, I was helping him. So I had a little practice leading yoga, but this is the first time, like, in a real yoga room with, like, 15 people, and like some of them didn't speak English, and it was fun. It was really fun. I found, well, I'll talk about the lessons at the end, because we're just doing the run through. And then, so then I spent the rest of the day pretty much cooking San Pedro at Sherdok. Sherdok bailed, sadly. He had some stuff he had to take care of. He wasn't even supposed to be there. He tried to fly to Quito the day before this happened, but he had to be there so that we could harvest San Pedro with them to make this whole event possible. Thank you, Sherdok, and thank you, Fate, right? But anyway, so I'm cooking Pedro all day, and eventually I was done, cooked it for like 9 hours, and then I was let it cool and walked away and went to have lunch, came back, and the kitchen was locked. And so there was one last step, was filtering it through a t-shirt, and I couldn't find the guy with the key forever. And so until dinner, I knew he'd be there at dinner, and so we walked over and he opened it up, and I got the temple ready so that we could have our ceremony. And everybody else followed me after dinner. We were all fasting that day. Tried to fast as much as possible, which probably wasn't so necessary, but it's part of for Papa Pedro. Pachamama, Papa Pedro. I'll fast for you guys. And supposedly it'll help you not throw up. But we all had, because we had 12 people, we all had such a light dose. I don't think anybody threw up. But anyway, set up a nice ceremony with crystals and candles, and we all, because it wasn't finished, which was perfect, we all got to put some effort in squeezing the juice out and filtering it, and I really thought that was meaningful. We all set intentions, we did ohms, and for my intention, this was big. This is really big, guys. So at my last San Pedro experience, I got to cuddle up with Morphe. Morphe's even a friend on Facebook. I love this dog. And I was clean the whole time. I was normally allergic to dogs. And San Pedro made me immune. And I was like, wow, that's cool, right? And so then this time I was like, I want to be immune to the dog allergy for the rest of my life, right? That was my intention. Success. The next morning I rubbed up all against Crispeta, and Crispeta is the dirtiest dog in campus. She eats her own children, right? Okay, this is a weird dog. Noemi loves her, has dreams about her. I don't understand it, but great test to test my dog allergy, and came up with an A+. Not an itch. I rubbed my face on her. It was perfect. But during the ceremony, so we had a great ceremony, set intentions, very pretty, had a nice meditation, and then afterwards we hiked up the sand dunes and just chilled and watched the stars, and had sand fights, and I just got engulfed in sand. Noemi and I actually both were just having sand fights, and she's always talking in her French crap, and so it got serious. I don't mess around, and so we were having battles. It was fun. And then rolling down the hill, doing somersaults down the hill over and over again. Such a good time. And so yeah, we were all very lightly dosed, which was great because 3 or 4 people had never even done any hallucinogens in their life. And I got to lead this beautiful ceremony, and it was so cool. And Jane was a huge help too. She was really cool. This random girl from Cusco who had done San Pedro before. Right, I didn't sleep that night, and the next day we were just rolling off to Ica, and I was going to do some sandboarding and meet up with my friends Hannah and Wesley, who I happened to enjoy San Pedro with before. Hope that's okay, girls, that this is online. But then, what do you know, the community is just so strong, and after that kind of experience, you always become really close with people after you do a hallucinogen. It's just something that happens. It's such a bonding experience. And so, what do you know, 4 of my favorite girls happened to be rolling down to Ica with me, or at the same day, so I was like, okay, let's all go together. And it was great, because I didn't plan anything. I just got to ride their coattails, and thank you so much, Izzy, for being, the bomb at, organizing everything. And so, we rolled off to Ica, and didn't sleep, and it was just, we made it to, they actually stopped before me and went to Pisco, and I continued on Ica without them, where there's this Huancachina place where you can do sandboarding, and that's what it's going to be the next one. Sandboarding can be dangerous. You could break a hip. That's what happens in my next video, is all the sandboarding stuff. But this time, lessons learned. Oh man, I talked too long. Big lessons that I learned. First off, community is huge, and I love it. And I'm a big part of it, and I can really help build it. I'm a very integral part of any community I'm a part of. Second, I'm actually a leader. I didn't really realize what a leader I am until I started hanging out with a bunch of 20-year-olds. Really easy to lead them. And, I know a lot of stuff, considering I'm old. The other one is, medicines are powerful. San Pedro is a powerful medicine that can cure your dog allergy or any other problem that you have You just have to set the intention and have the correct ceremony and the love around it. Love. That's what it's all about, guys. See ya.